When I was 6, there was this TV show in Egypt called This Day in History. This show basically highlights a particular day and how it's significant in history. And I remember that day when they were featuring this particular day when the doomsday clock came closest to midnight. Now, for those of you who don't know the doomsday clock, it's a symbolic indicator that would measure when the world would come closest to an end, particularly because of the use of nuclear weapons. Now, being 6 years old, I understood what the end of the world is, and I kind of understood what nuclear weapons are. What I did not understand was what symbolic is. And I really understood that the world would come to an end, particularly because of nuclear weapons. And that idea really scared me off. And I remember thinking, can we do something about this? Can this vision of the doomsday be overcome somehow? And is there anybody doing anything to combat this? And this is how I developed an interest in non-proliferation, disarmament of nuclear weapons. I started to read about the subject, and I pursued a degree in it, and I started working on it. And I understood that problems of weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East go beyond nuclear weapons. The Middle East is the only region that is known to host stockpiles of nuclear and chemical weapons, and even some states are suspected of hosting biological weapons. Now, this is very dangerous, and you would think that non-proliferation and disarmament should be on top priority for Middle East policy. Unfortunately, this is not the case. The Middle East lacks a collective regional vision towards eliminating weapons of mass destruction. And while progress is stalled on the political leadership front, a group of young Middle Easterns came together to create the Middle East Next Generation of Arms Control Specialist Network, or as we like to call them MENEX. And what we try to do is, through a multi-level strategy, we try to promote the idea of creating a weapons of mass destruction free zone in the Middle East. We are a group of policy specialists and scientists, because in order for you to combat these weapons, you don't need only sound policies that guide the process. You need only to get scientists who understand how to eliminate these weapons, how to verify their non-existence, how to dismantle them. Or I might just start calling it political engineering. And we work on different projects together towards promoting this idea. Last year, we met together and we simulated a conference that would come up with recommendations to eliminate weapons of mass destruction from the Middle East. We drafted a consensus document, and as you can see, it's very messy, that would guide the way towards eliminating these weapons. Now, this is not an easy task because there's a lot of concerns about them. It's beyond what the media portrays about the Iranian concerns or the Syrian chemical weapons. There's a lot of challenges in the Middle East and weapons of mass destruction. And we were able to draft this document that proposed recommendations on how we can guide the process forward. And we were able even to co-author an article about it. In fact, one of the main things that we do is we try to co-author all the time in different languages. Our latest project has been the creation of this Middle East Next Generation of Arms Control Specialist Network course. It's a tutorial, actually, and it's going to be launched the end of this month. It's going to be in Arabic, Farsi, Hebrew, and Turkish. And it's geared towards anybody who doesn't have any background in non-proliferation, disarmament, or arms control. And we believe that through this, an organic interest can be generated in the region, and an awareness about the importance of the subject can be developed. Finally, and let me conclude with that, next month in the United Nations, I'm going to have the honors to sit right next to an Israeli and an Iranian colleague, and we're going to be explaining the projects that we're working on. This is the first time that an Egyptian, an Israeli, and an Iranian are going to sit together at the United Nations talking about weapons of mass destruction, but not pointing fingers, but rather talking about how we've created a culture of confidence and cooperation. And perhaps if this vision is implemented on other fora in the region, we can see major breakthroughs taking place. Thank you.